Pope Francis about to announce the existence of extraterrestrial life. This is Skywatch TV News for June 2nd of 2015. I'm Derek Gilbert. That's one of the claims that came out of that Contact in the Desert conference that I told you about yesterday. Daniel Sheehan, constitutional attorney, public interest lawyer, trained at Harvard, possibly best known for his work on the Pentagon Papers case. He also served on the team that sued Kerr-McGee on behalf of whistleblower and labor activist Karen Silkwood. You may remember the movie. Meryl Streep played the role of Karen Silkwood. He also served as legal counsel for Dr. John Mack. He's the Harvard professor, head of the psychology department there, who did extensive research into the alien abduction phenomenon. And by the way, concluded, Dr. Mack did, that there were profound parallels between the accounts of those who claimed to have been abducted by aliens and survivors of satanic ritual abuse. Anyway, Sheehan was also special counsel to the Library of Congress when it investigated the existence of extraterrestrial life at the direction of President Jimmy Carter. In 2001, Sheehan served as general counsel to the Disclosure Project, an ongoing effort to pressure world governments into revealing what they know about ET to the rest of us. He's also served as the director of the New Paradigm Project at Mikhail Gorbachev's globalist organization, the State of the World Forum. I tell you all of that to make the point that Daniel Sheehan is no lightweight. So, over the weekend, he claimed in his presentation that Pope Francis is preparing an historic encyclical that is a global decree that is sent out to all dioceses around the world, calling for the disassembly of the power structures that are destroying our civilization and preventing us, humanity, from joining the enlightened galactic community. Sheehan also says that Pope Francis wants to position the Catholic Church and the Jesuit order in particular to accept a major shift in human consciousness. This is one of the teachings of the late Jesuit Father Pierre Teilhard de Chardin, who apparently has played a profound role in influencing the life and work of Daniel Sheehan. Sheehan concludes that the result of the revelation of alien existence would lead to the evolution of a sixth faculty of human consciousness, and that this sixth faculty would constitute a new form of religion and contact between humans and advanced telepathic aliens. Now, does Sheehan have accurate information, and is he telling the truth? Not necessarily. But if his information is correct and he is telling the truth, this is simply more confirmation of what Tom Horn and Cris Putnam have been writing about in their books, Vaticana and On the Path of the Immortals. We'll keep an eye on this as the year moves along. Meanwhile, this is not really news, this next story, but it is an appropriate time to at least mention this. A few weeks ago, we told you about the revelation of new photos of what was supposed to be the Roswell alien. Former astronaut Edgar Mitchell, who was also at the Contact in the Desert conference, was a part of this event in Mexico City. The photo of the alien, which you see here, has a little placard in front of it which was deliberately blanked out in the pictures that were released at the Mexico City event. Some sharp researchers using a photographic app called Smart Deblur were able to read the writing on that placard. And as you can see here, the so-called Roswell alien was revealed to be the mummified body of a 2-year-old boy. So much for that. In Mexico, a case of satanic murder. A 6-year-old boy in Chihuahua State was invited to play a kidnap game by several local children, the 3 boys, 2 girls aged 12 through 15. Christopher Marquez, the 6-year-old, was tied up, then beaten, stoned, suffocated, and then buried face down in a shallow hand-dug grave. Now, authorities there have now linked his death to the veneration of Santa Muerte, or Saint Death. This is a relatively new cult. It's only been public for about 12 years or so. The accused children, according to neighbors, have been indoctrinated by local criminal gang into the cult, and all 5 of the children accused of this murder are supposedly recruited to be members of this gang. Now, in Mexico, which is officially a Roman Catholic state, people will pray to saints when they need spiritual help, but they will often turn to Santa Muerte when they're looking for some more practical assistance from the supernatural realm, revenge, or protection from an enemy. Santa Muerte is very popular among criminals and among law enforcement officials. Apparently, Santa Muerte doesn't take sides in the ongoing struggle between good and evil. Devotees of Santa Muerte leave offerings of candy, tequila, and cigarettes at small shrines like the one you see on your screen here. She's considered the patroness, maybe not patron saint, but at least patroness of Mexican drug gangs. And this cult is spreading. In the dozen years or so that this cult has been public, it is Santa Muerte has drawn between 10 and 20 million followers. And with up to 20 million Mexicans residing in the United States, shrines to Santa Muerte are beginning to pop up in Mexican communities throughout the United States. A disturbing story from South Carolina. Who is killing chickens there? Over 300,000 have been murdered within the last couple of months. Sophisticated alarms in these cases were turned off and ventilation systems deactivated, fans to cool adult birds, heating systems to keep newborn chicks warm from freezing to death. This is called by officials in South Carolina the largest crime against industrial poultry farms in U.S. history. The estimated loss to the company that owned the birds, Pilgrim's Pride, estimated at $1.7 million. But the scary part of this story is not so much the financial loss that Pilgrim's Pride will take, the higher prices that we may pay because of the reduced supply of chicken in our grocery stores, but it's the vulnerability that this case illustrates of American agribusiness to acts of terror, sabotage. You see, police suspect that a local poultry farmer who saw his neighbors as his enemy may be responsible for these crimes. Now imagine what an organized effort against poultry operations, hog farms, feedlots, imagine what they could accomplish with a little time, effort, and planning. American agribusiness is the heart and soul of our economy, and devastation that it could wreak on our economy as a whole is almost beyond imagining. Pestilence and plague, two of the tools mentioned, or one of the tools mentioned by the fourth rider of the apocalypse, the only rider, by the way, in Revelation chapter 6 that's given a name, Thanatos, translated into English as death. MERS, the Middle East Respiratory Syndrome, has broken out in South Korea. 25 cases there, 2 have died. Doesn't sound like a very big outbreak, but the frightening part of this story is this. MERS, a coronavirus, which is considered a deadlier but less infectious cousin of SARS, appears to be spreading through the air in these cases. The Korean authorities there have confirmed that the most recent diagnosed cases simply were people who simply shared a hospital ward, stayed in the same hospital ward as the original case, a man who traveled to Saudi Arabia and then returned home to South Korea. The mortality rate for MERS typically runs between 30 and 40%. So if this is in fact an airborne virus, we're looking at a very frightening outbreak indeed. By comparison, Spanish flu, which killed between 25 and 50 million people about 100 years ago, had a mortality rate estimated at 2.5 to 5%. Again, MERS running at 30 to 40%. Well, it appears that my prediction came true a lot sooner than I thought. There are reports out on the internet today that the demon-summoning Charlie Charlie Challenge was just a viral marketing campaign for a new horror film called The Gallows. Now, it's not clear if this is true. It appears that the marketing team for the movie The Gallows posted a quickie video after the Charlie Charlie Challenge had already gone viral. But either way, it's popularizing behavior that shouldn't be taken lightly. And to borrow a phrase from our president, let me be clear. Summoning demons is not a game. Tonight, Steve Quayle is Tom Horn's guest on Skywatch TV. This airs at 8:30 p.m. Central Time. That's UTC-5 on the Christian Television Network. That's DirecTV Channel 376, Dish Network Channel 267, the Glory Star Satellite Channel 117. If you don't have access to satellite television, you can watch the program as it airs live. I guess airs is kind of an old-fashioned word, isn't it? As it streams live on the Christian Television Network's website, ctnonline.com. We will archive that show at skywatchtv.com later in the week, but you can watch it as early as tomorrow morning on Roku. If you have a Roku box and a Roku account, add the Skywatch TV channel to your account. Instructions on how to do that online at skywatchtv.com/Roku. Roku. You'll also, at skywatchtv.com, find the Skywatch magazine. It is free for you to read at your perusal, at your convenience. You can download, print the files if you like. The link to the magazine in the top menu bar at skywatchtv.com. Click on the link that says Free Magazine. You'll find articles by Tom Horn, Dr. Michael Lake, Josh Peck, and yours truly, Gary Stearman as well, also contributing an article to the current issue. And we will always post it there. It is mobile ready, so if you're like me and you prefer to read on a tablet, as the eyes get older, it's nice to be able to make the font bigger. You'll find that the magazine is already formatted for your mobile device. We appreciate you watching as we keep watch, as we wrestle not against flesh and blood. I'm Derek Gilbert, and this is Skywatch TV. Also served on the team that sued Kerr McGee on behalf of whistleblower and labor activist Karen Silkwood. You may remember the movie. Meryl Streep played the role of Karen Silkwood. He also served as legal counsel for Dr. John Mack. He's the Harvard professor, head of the psychology department there, who did extensive research into the alien abduction phenomenon and, by the way, concluded, Dr. Mack did, that there were profound parallels between the accounts of those who claim to have been abducted by aliens and survivors of satanic ritual abuse. Pope Francis about to announce the existence of extraterrestrial life. This is Skywatch TV News for June. Anyway, Sheehan was also special counsel to the Library of Congress when it investigated the existence of extraterrestrial life at the direction of President Jimmy Carter. In 2001, Sheehan served as general counsel to the Disclosure Project, an ongoing effort to pressure world government. 2nd of 2015, I'm Derek Gilbert. That's one of the claims that came out of that Contact in the Desert conference that I told you about yesterday. Daniel P. Sheehan, constitutional attorney, public interest lawyer, trained at Harvard, possibly best known for his work on the Pentagon Papers case. He